This is where the conversation that truly matters happen. And it gives us great pleasure to walk with you on today's program. I am Femi Ojo. Thank you for joining us. And of course, Daniel is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Femi.
My guy.
Hope you had a great night.
Well, I can't complain. I'm
Absolutely.
up and grateful.
Absolutely.
And that's what really matters.
That's great.
morning.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Right.
Good morning, viewers all over the world. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and it promises to be a great day. Welcome once again to Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Emeka Daniel is my name. Thank you once again for joining us. Promises to be wonderful. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy as we bring you, the best as usual. Promises always to be the best.
Of course, the best only, of course, talking about issues that have happened. So many of them happened as far as yesterday is concerned. Yesterday was National Police Day, in which Nigerian police celebrated its men and officers and all of those things in Abuja with funfair. And, really in whatever achievement they have achieved for themselves. And, but then the issue of the protest happened yesterday in Abuja, in some cities, in Lagos. The Take It Back movement, organized that protest. And of course, expectedly, it wouldn't go without the scuffles and the back and forth and all of those things. And the police said before that time that maybe that protest was ill-timed, especially the one in Abuja. And the Take It Back movement are choosing the same place, the Eagle Square, as, no, I think the fountain in Abuja, somewhere similar to what the venue that the police wants to use as well. But then the nexus is the protest could have gone ahead while the police have his day as well.
Yeah.
But that distrust of the fact that, possibly the Take It Back movement protest was meant to embarrass the Nigerian police on a day, just one day in a year.
It's not, Femi, if you ask me, it is not. I completely disagree with the Nigerian police.
Right.
It has nothing to do with embarrassing them. It's quite unfortunate what we are seeing here in Nigeria. Okay, there's no better way to say it.
Right.
It's quite unfortunate. Now, the Take It Back movement, came out to organize this protest. According to their national coordinator, Juwon Sonyaolu, he said the aim of the protest is to resist increasing authoritarianism in the current administration. Has nothing to do with the police. The policemen are also Nigerians. Right. They are going through the same thing. They are suffering the same economic hardship.
They are.
Why then should you stop a peaceful protest? Look at what happened in Abuja, in Maitama in Abuja. People gathered to protest. They were peaceful. They were peaceful. They started using tear gas on them, on peaceful citizens. Are we practicing democracy in Nigeria? That's a question. So I completely disagree with the police. The fact that they had an event, it doesn't stop people from protesting peacefully. So again, the question is, are we really practicing democracy in Nigeria? Look at Port Harcourt in Rivers State, where they gathered at the Isaac Borough Center to protest. These guys were peaceful. They started applying tear gas. They actually some reports said they actually beat up some of the protesters, including journalists. Now, where does that happen around the world? Is this democracy? So again, no congratulations to the police. I have nothing good to say about it. Yes, absolutely, because you guys, we are actually fighting for you. If you listen to Omoyele Show yesterday, he said it. These policemen, you are Nigerians. We are also fighting for you. So why then should you stop peaceful protests? That's the question. And again, the Minister of Youth Development, he was saying that if he had the time, that he could have joined the protest. And I just laughed and I said, you dare not.
Why can't he?
He's a minister. He's working for the present administration. So he would be indicted. So that's the point. So it's quite unfortunate.
In crisis management, right, there are things that you dare to do, and then you change the optics, actually. And you wouldn't mind. There are things that, possibly people have always said, especially when it appears tense and hot, if actually government and their handlers attend to those issues, there are times you can change the optics, you can change the narrative, identify, show that you care, show up. The moment that conversation is happening, be part of it. Don't demonize them, either it's physically or social media or on the conventional media, and feel, these are the enemies of the country, these are the enemies of the government. even if they are perceived enemy, be part of that conversation when it's going on.
Absolutely.
Say your truth. You know, it's only in Nigeria sometimes. You will say some people are peddling fake news, and what they are saying is misinformation. You are supposed to have the real information. You won't come out with the information. You won't beat those people to that game. Let there be the correct information. Attend to some job opportunity somewhere, juicy one in the government. Oh, it's the son of the politicians and their daughters and their cronies that are there. And then all of a sudden, when that particular narratives are filtered in and permeated the atmosphere, you will begin to say, oh, it's a lie. Oh, why not come up with the list of the people that have been employed, the process, the plan and everything, and let the handler say, oh, these are the processes and this is information. And by the way, why people say that sometimes, the real information will not be there. You won't know the time of the recruitment. You won't know the people that have been recruited. You will not know anything. All of a sudden, you just see people going around and say, you just heard that the recruitment is over. Or even when they plan the recruitment, someone will tell you, maybe it's just for formality and some of those things. The essence of what I'm saying is this. The minister missed another opportunity, actually. If he shows up yesterday, nothing will happen to him. They won't hound him. They won't beat him. The best or the worst that those people would do is to possibly go to him, charge at him, and let him know what is happening. Douse the tension. It won't be the only one to come. You have your lieutenant as well. Let them come and say, guys, I am with you. What is going on? What do you want? All right, come with bottled water, come with snacks, and all of those things. And you might not, optics is everything.
Absolutely.
You change the narrative, give a timeline, and out of the people that are agitating, you might say one or two, then who will say, maybe these people are not really bad. Or this guy that is the new youth minister, let's give him a chance, and let's talk with him, and the whole thing is said to, agitation will go down. But not in Nigeria, the moment you see people say we want to protest, all kinds of intelligence reports will begin to come out and say they are the people that want to topple the government. Oh, want to take Iba. Oh, the take Iba means hijack. And all of those things. I think we can do a lot more.
But again, if you ask me, there is no better way to say it. It is quite clear that the authoritarian tendencies in this present administration is something else. We are supposed to be practicing democracy, and we are not seeing it. So this administration is showing us again and again that they are being authoritarian. And that's exactly what the Take It Back movement is trying to resist. Increasing authoritarianism by the current administration. And look at what we saw yesterday. It's quite unfortunate. So, Mr. President, I know you're in Paris, France, taking care of yourself, or as the case may be, on a working visit, as your media aide said. But again, I think you should look into this. Your administration, I make bold to say that your administration is becoming increasingly authoritarian in nature. This is not the democracy we want in Nigeria. This is not what it should be. People should be allowed to protest peacefully. These are peaceful citizens trying to protest peacefully. Why stop them? Why use tear gas? And to the policemen out there, you are actually going through the same thing as most of us Nigerians. You are facing the same, economic hardship that we face. Why then are you being officious sometimes? I know you have your orders from above, but again, you need to apply common sense. Let's do the right thing. We are supposed to be practicing democracy in Nigeria and not autocracy or whatever form of crazy, as you may call it. It's quite unfortunate.
It's a democracy. Possibly the word is being
on paper, it's democracy. But we are not. The reality is that this is not what democracy should look like.
Well, just like you have said and others has posited, we can do a lot more than we are currently doing right now, because it's supposed to be about the people, by the people, for the people.
Absolutely.
And, by the same people, we will keep talking about these. We have a duty, constitutional backed duty, to call people and everybody, to question, especially when it comes to responsibility. We'll go on this quick break. When we return, we will reel out the papers. Stay with us. All right. I will be starting from the Nigerian Tribune today. I guess you might have to see and hear from our end here. We apologize if actually You won't see the images on our screen. But then we do justice from here. Nigerian Tribune youths defy police warning, stage protest in Lagos, Abuja, Rivers, Ibadan, and others. So we said that earlier. And you can see the picture of those youths and with the messages they have and inscribed on those placards. You see messages like arresting critics won't fix your bad governance and say no to critical dictatorship. And another one says we must have freedom of speech and freedom after speech as well. Another one says silence. Uh, all right, silence. No. uh, Okay, Nigeria problem and all of those things. I think the fulcrum of the message is gotten already. And Saudi ban Nigeria not affected. Yeah, there were insinuations yesterday that the government of Saudi Arabia, or the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, has banned some countries, including Nigeria. But the federal government has come out to say that ban is not affecting us. Saudi ban Nigeria not affected. Federal government and UBEC disburses 22 billion naira to state for training of 224,000 teachers. UBEC disburses 22 billion naira to state for training of 224,000 teachers. That's a good one. Train the trainers, actually. Educate the educators. And then that is a good one. And CNG, federal government attracts to $491 million investment on various plans to expand penetration in 30 states. CNG, federal government attracts $491 million investment and unveils plan to expand penetration in 30 states. Another one says APC governance visit Buhari in Kaduna, say party stable ahead of 2027. Former President Buhari. APC governance visit Buhari in Kaduna, say party stable ahead of 2027. And there is another one, bottom street, boldly written, Naira under pressure amid global tariff tensions. Naira under pressure amid global tariff tensions with riders. Air operators predict lower earnings for Nigeria. Cheaper petrol price as oil price crash. Take that again. Operators predict low earnings for Nigeria. Cheaper petrol pump price as oil price crash. An economic management team to review all scenarios and advise federal government. That's coming from the finance minister, and I think it's coming on these global, tariff issues with the U.S. and some of these, powerful nations of the world slamming tariffs on one another, and it's started actually with what Donald Trump is doing. Different tariff percentages in different countries. As far as Nigeria is concerned, it's 14%. And so Nigerians are waiting to see. Yesterday, figures have been given how these will affect Nigeria to the tune of billions of dollars, But then we must manage our fears ourselves. And the last writer there says, effect on export will be negligible. 14%. All right, we hope it stands that way. Beijing legacy for global advancement honors Awolowo Dosunmu. Another one says LP crisis. Abure's leadership threatens sanctions against Obi Oti ahead of parallel NEC meeting. LP crisis. Abure's leadership threatens sanctions against Obi Oti ahead of parallel NEC meeting. The question is, now that it appears like the courts has endorse the removal of Mr. Abure as the party chairman of Labour Party, so to speak.
No, I don't think. Some people will say the court did not endorse his removal. That's what they'll say. Well, again, because the High Court, here's what happened. The High Court and the Appeal Court actually recognized him as the national chairman of the Labour Party. The Supreme Court came to say that those courts lack jurisdiction. Now, here's a problem with the interpretation of that. So the Supreme Court technically did not remove Abure. They are just saying that the High Court and the Appeal Court that recognize him do not have jurisdiction to do so. Okay, that's all the courts, including them, the Supreme Court, should have no business in determining party leadership. That political parties should respect their own constitution.
Should handle their affairs.
And internal. So it's not as if they did not remove Aburi.
My point exactly.
They're just saying it's not about business, but both parties will interpret it to favor them.
My point here is when the critical stakeholders in your party appears not to be with you, actually, in this case, the only governor you have in your party is not in your camp. The P2B is neither here nor there, technically speaking, and there have been calls for him to step down. You've done enough. Let's move ahead. You know, all of those things. I'm just saying that whatever you think are the issues with the bigger political parties, maybe other political parties as well have the same issue. The National Secretary position has been a problem with PDP for a long time. Their chairmanship position has been an issue with the PDP for a long time, in which Mr. Damagum has been there in acting capacity for how long? People are saying, step away.
Absolutely.
That slot ordinarily belonged to the North Central, because since IU left, it's supposed to be replaced by somebody from the North Central. Damagum is not from there. He has been there perpetually. APC have their issues as well.
Again, that's party politics.
I'm just saying.
The court is saying you people should respect your constitution. In the case of Abure, constitutionally, okay, according to the party, he is still the national chairman. So Labour Party should talk to Abure.
Open to the same interpretation that you talked about, because
yes,
the Supreme Court wasn't categorical. It was more like whatever you guys have been entertaining up to this point.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Go back home and settle.
That's from their own party constitution. He's still the party chairman.
I think the same issue happened with another party. I'm trying to remember now that the court had to say these kind of cases are supposed to be handled by their party.
But my worry, Femi, for Labour Party is that if they are not careful, they would lose their presidential candidate, who is actually more popular than the party. That's my worry.
We wish them all the best. As far as I'm concerned, I worry not. That's their issue. That's their problem. Politicians know how to handle their business. We are solely with the people. Now, plateau killings, military to deploy more troops to troubled communities. JNI condemns killings. And how long will these troops be there? That's the issue. Issues happen. Oh, the pillage of such a community. Everybody comes waxing lyrically and all of those things. Okay. You know, the military has said they will deploy more troops to troubled communities. The thing is, how long will they be there?
Is it that after a while they will leave?
Exactly.
Then again, we have the same. God
forbid. You can, so to speak. There are some things that you can, preempt, because we don't have the numbers. The thing is, those people cannot be there perpetually. How many do we have? What are the numbers that will now take maybe like 100 and domicile them in a particular community? What happens to other communities? What happens to communities in Benue? What happens to communities in Nasarawa that they are suffering this kind of the same pattern of these killings that has happened? And then you talk about the entire Northeast, and then you talk about the Southeast. It's just about, many persons will talk about deterrence. Identify who these people are and be ruthless with them. Let others know that they can't afford to do that. That's just the thing. Can they be there for 6 months? Can they be there for 1 year? It's not that when they are domiciled there, there will not be issues in other areas as well. There will be issues. There are running issues. There are villages that have been left. Absolutely. And that is why those bandits will come to those villages and come and regroup and then start their havoc again. Who are these people? My question has always been, do they descend from the sky, do their havoc and return? Even when they are descending, there are some persons who we see, who we know. Ghosts. While they were descending, nobody saw them. You will hear from residents that they will say sometimes some of these havoc could go on as up to 1, 2, 3 hours without help. And immediately they are done, military will come.
Right.
All of those guys will come. And these are the issues. Until you identify them, you are ruthless with them. Even the child in your home, there are sometimes you try to warn, and the moment you give a spank or two, it will know, I'm not supposed to do this. And I think it's as easy as that. That will be all.
Absolutely.
From the Nigerian Tribune for today.
From the Nigerian Tribune, we move straight to the Punch newspaper. Let's check out some of the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Local government autonomy. Governors block council chairman from opening CBN accounts. Local government autonomy. Governors block council chairman from opening CBN accounts. With a rider, governors tighten grip as central bank rolls out stringent account opening guidelines. That's quite unfortunate. We're talking about local government autonomy here, but the governors are tightening their grips on the local governments as expected. But again, the law is the law. If the law says local governments should have autonomy, the governors will have to let go. Let's see how that plays out. Moving to the top strip of the Punch newspaper. US imported $643 million Nigerian goods in 2 months. That's according to reports on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. United States imported $643 million Nigerian goods in 2 months. Of course, you'll recall that report from this side from the Minister of Trade Investment and actually said Nigeria exports about $6 billion worth of goods to the United States. That's the trade, that's the volume of trade. And here the US is confirming it that about $643 million worth of Nigerian goods were imported in 2 months. So I think the figures do add up right there. Moving on to other stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. 78,000 Cameroonians, others sought asylum in Nigeria. 78,000 Cameroonians, others sought asylum in Nigeria. That's according to the United Nations. You'll find that story on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Factional firestorm. Obi, Abure, camps clash over parallel neck meetings. Factional firestorm. Obi, Abure camps clash over parallel neck meetings. You would recall, just like we were discussing earlier, that the Supreme Court has taken their hands off the case, saying political parties should take care of their own leadership issues. Now, there are 2 factions. Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, is actually planning a meeting on Wednesday, a stakeholders meeting on Wednesday. But Abure is warning that he is still the national chairman, that the court has not removed him. The court only said, hey, we should respect our own constitution. And constitutionally, I am still the national chairman of Labour Party. That's according to Abure. So Abure is issuing warnings to, of course, Alex Oti and Mr. Peter Ruby, their presidential candidate, that you should be careful. I am still the chairman here. So let's see how that plays out. Still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. 2027, APC governors visit Buhari amid associates defections to SDP. APC governors visit Buhari amid associates defections to SDP. You'll find that story on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning. Anger as police disrupt protests, deploy choppers. Anger as police disrupt protests, deploy choppers. You see the picture right there of some protesters who had gathered the Take It Back movement at protesters gathering in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Ibadan. And those protesters were disrupted, actually in Lagos and also in Abuja. We have in Abuja, in Maitama, Abuja, and of course at the Isaac Borough Camp in Port Harcourt, where tear gas was reportedly fired at the peaceful protesters. You see the pictures right there. From the bottom strip of the Punch newspaper, my selection as Alaafin divine, not political. My selection as Alaafin divine, not political. And that's according to Oba Uwade. Oba Uwade was actually at his coronation as the 46th Alaafin of Oyo over the weekend. Now he is saying that his selection was divine and not political. You'll find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. 4 arrested as JAM uncovers.
You know, when you said your coronation was divine, I was almost saying, Alaafin Daniel Ebeka, maybe this one.
He said his coronation, not
when you said my, I was saying,
Alaafin, that's Alaafin speaking there.
And that's Oba Uwade.
Yeah, Oba Uwade.
Uwade, yeah.
Akim Uwade.
Yeah.
Not my coronation, that's the Oba's coronation.
That's Uwade.
I am yet to be coronated.
And Kabiyesi to the Iku Babaye, the way it's called.
Exactly.
His Royal Majesty, the fearsome one, by the way. That's just the way it is.
That's talking about
Congratulations to Oba Akim
the great
or
Oyo
Wade.
Empire.
Yeah, Alashwe too. That is the first of his name. Actually, you know, you have sometimes you have this person, the second, the fourth, the third, but it's the first of his name.
Okay.
Quite iconic.
That's interesting. So that's talking about the 46th Alaafin of Oyo. Congratulations to you on your divine selection. According to you, he says it's not political. We believe you. Congratulations. Still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. 4 arrested as JAMB uncovers 585 fake A-level certificates. 4 arrested as JAMB uncovers 585 fake A-level certificates. Talking about examination malpractice, still rampant here. Thankfully, JAMB is uncovering a lot of fake certificates, and this is quite unfortunate. What does it say about system of education? The youth, actually, I think you should just sit down, and it's not difficult, for God's sake. Just put in the work and write your exams instead of trying to cut corners. Anyway, that's that. Moving on to other stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper, and this will be the last one from the Punch newspaper. Fans, friends mourn 4 gospel artists killed in Ogun accident. Quite unfortunate, a tragic one right there. Fans, friends mourn 4 gospel artists killed in Ogun accident. You'll find that story on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. We do hope that God grants the families fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Quite unfortunate one right there. And that'll be all.
Very unfortunate.
From the Punch newspaper.
Especially dying in the line of duty. I think there were administration, 4 of them. And it was quite sad one. But then, let's move ahead. Possibly the last one in the line of headlines this morning. Let's check what the Daily Trust has for us. The Daily Trust, split in Hajj Commission. Board members accuse chairman of abuse of office. Body's activities guided by rules, Nahambars. All right, below that we have the picture of the procession of the protesters of the Take It Back movement that happened in some parts of Nigeria yesterday. Another one says, just below that, Take It Back movement, police tear gas and disperse protesters. An APC governance visit Buhari in Kaduna. Again, truck kills 1, crushes 5 vehicles on FCT Road. Oh, I didn't know what we're going to do about this, but it's bad. Actually, falling, tankers or trucks every day. The other time was in Lagos. A truck fell off the bridge. It was yesterday, the Otedola Bridge. A car rather rammed off that bridge, landed badly, and although there were no immediate casualty, but news had it that they were badly injured. You can imagine if a vehicle will tumble off the bridge and land on the ground. So many things are happening, not just in Lagos, in some part of the country. I think, the infrastructure may not be great, but I think we need to do more.
Well, if you look at the Otedola Bridge, Femi, I don't know what's actually wrong with that bridge. I used to live very close to that place, close to Omole Estate. I mean, nothing physically is wrong with that bridge, but the rate of accidents on that bridge, the
carnage on that particular structure is it's terrible. In fact, the moment you hear Otedola Bridge, you know something has happened. Actually, now again, road construction, motorists spend hours in Zuba. Traffic gridlock. Okay, it was Lagos 3 days ago. Now it's Abuja yesterday. And 6 killed, 59 abducted as bandits attack casino communities. Here we go. Just a few days ago, it was Plateau. Now we are reporting what has happened in Casino and why lung cancer is silently killing Nigerians. Why lung cancer is silently killing Nigerians. And the why. You want to know why? Please check. And crisis. Chief of Army Staff visits Plateau, sues for peace. All right. Was it Peter Tosh, who's the reggae legend, who sang everybody want peace, but there cannot be peace without justice. That's
absolutely.
You can sue for peace from now till the next Olympics. That you won't have that peace except people know that they can have justice, and justice is served. Forgiveness on one side, justice is the main thing. That'll be up on the Daily Trust.
Okay, I'm from the Daily Trust newspaper. We move straight to the Nation newspaper this morning. Very quickly, let's look at the stories on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Federal government allays fears over 14% Trump trade tariff. Federal government allays fears over 14% Trump trade tariffs. With a rider, economic team assessing impact on budget. 2025 assumptions to determine response. Actually, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, I mean, he made a statement reported by Punch yesterday that now we have 14% tariff on us, but he tried to play it down, saying it's negligible, that it's not going to affect Nigeria like that. That's according to him. And here's his own calculations. According to him, he's saying, fine, we have 14%, tariffs on our non-oil trades with the US, but there are some countries like Vietnam. He was giving an example. He said Vietnam has 46% tariff. That's, well, he's trying to see the advantage here, that if the US cannot do business with Vietnam, if you cannot manufacture in Vietnam, we are ready, we are waiting. That's according to him. So you come to Nigeria. And he also said the exchange rate favors Nigeria. I mean, the weak Naira to dollar exchange rate. If you're an American businessman, you bring your dollars to Nigeria, of course, it's an advantage. So he's trying to see the good side of it. That's the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, right now, trying to downplay the 14% tariffs on Nigerian goods. Let us see how that plays out right there. Still on the front page of the Nation newspaper, we move to the top strip now. Police disperse protesters in Abuja, Port Harcourt. Police disperse protesters in Abuja, Port Harcourt. With a rider, guided march in Ibadan, Lagos. Moving to other stories on the Nation newspaper, Ayedatiwa gets ultimatum to pay minimum wage. Varsities, others, Ayedatiwa gets ultimatum to pay minimum wage. Varsities, others, you find that right in the Nation newspaper. Still on the Nation newspaper this morning, 19.4 billion naira contract fraud. BPP director testifies against Sirica. You find that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. APC governor's visit to Buhari, a show of unity, strength. APC governor's visit to Buhari, a show of unity, strength. You find a story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Afe Babalola cautions against proliferation of universities. Afe Babalola cautions against proliferation of universities. You find that story on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Again, some will say it is not about the quantity, it is about the quality of education you are churning out in our citadels of learning here in Nigeria. Still on the front page of the Nation newspaper, Abure-led Labour Party threatens sanctions on Obi. Abure-led Labour Party threatens sanctions on Obi. With a rider, they lack power to call NEC meeting. That's according to Abure, saying he is still the valid national chairman of the Labour Party right there, claiming the court has not removed him. The court only said we should stick to our own constitution and internal processes in the party. And that is that finally from the Nation newspaper. Let's look at the bottom strip. Tinubu committed to well-trained, tech-driven, modern police. Tinubu committed to well-trained, tech-driven, modern police. You find that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And that'll be all from the front page of the Nation newspaper. And that brings us to a conclusion on newspaper review this morning. We'll go on a short break right now. When we return, the program continues. Stay with us.